I want to know from another author, as you were writing this, what did you wrestle with? Because sharing your story, as we heard in Candace's emotion, it's not an easy thing to do. And you might raise your hand to say, yeah, I want to be a part of a book, and yeah, I want to be an author. But then when you go to actually sit to write the story and remind and recall and remember, oh, like I know what it does for me, but I want you to share. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah.
All right,
Can
let's
I?
go. Teresa, then Marissa, then Crystal.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yes. For me, I'm kind of back to the other question too. But when I went to She Speaks last year, I met Tamra, Candace, Elisa Turkist, a lot of people there, and I was so excited. She asked the question at Lisa's event of about this, are you more than your past? You're more than a wife, more than a mother. And I thought, gosh, I'm all of those things. So, but I went home and I was so excited. And when she sent the things about being a part of it, I was just on fire. I'm more than enough. I can do this. And then as soon as I committed and started writing the story, it was like everything in the world came against me. I mean, the whole world was like, "No, you're not doing this." The enemy was on the job, and so through most of my chapter, it was a struggle to convince myself that I am enough. And even to this day, I can still relate because I still struggle. I'm like, how did I write that? Am I convinced that I am enough? And I still, so I too pulled out my chapter last week and read it. And I was like, I actually wrote that, and even though I'm not convinced, I know God is. And I think there's a lot of people out there in those same shoes that want to think they're enough, but the world tells them they're not. So I really feel like this is going to be life changing for a lot of people. It has been for me, and I know it's going to continue to be.
I just want to give you a big hug right now. I love you so much. And you're so, so right. I mean, I saw every single woman nodding her head with a full body nod of yes, like we have to remind ourselves, right? Because the world is telling us the exact opposite. And so not only is this book going to be a reminder, but this cohort of women is going to be a reminder, right? Like you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. You already have done so much, but ultimately it's what he's done on the cross for us that matters most. That's the most
Amen.
significant part. That's what binds us together. Marissa, I'd love to hear from you.
So the struggle that I'm just want to kind of share is that when I was going through my healing process, God kept telling me he was going to use this story, and I kept telling him no. And I said, no, I'm not sharing that one. And it came to when we started talking about the chapters of the book, I was trying to pick one of every other one except for the one that I knew that God was calling me to write in. And so I picked I'm More Than My Past. And it started off as a story of my husband passing, but it ended up being that God used that story of my husband passing to be able to share what I had gone through as a young child in order to be able to find the healing that I needed to. And so enduring a loss and then having to look at yourself in the mirror is really hard because I did not know who I was. But I picked that chapter because I knew for the longest time that God needed to close my healing or get me closer to where I needed to be in order to be able to help others. And that was his ultimate goal, was me being able to help others that are hurting and being able to give them hope in that. And me too. I've had to go back this week and read my chapter and remind myself of how God has constantly been there through all of my trial and all of my self-reflection, and allowed me to be able to say it's okay to be in that trial or in that trench or in that doubt again, because it just draws me closer to him every single time.